Well, the irrigation design that you see here is typical of large-scale domestic irrigation designs. And what I've done here is use the extended data feature in gCADPlus to help me build a legend similar to the one that you see on the right, but to use some of the interrogation techniques that are built into gCADPlus to enable us to count numbers of pieces of equipment. So the extended entity, we have a button in the status line, show hide, and I've turned it on at the moment. And if you watch closely as I move the mouse near one of these symbols, this one for example, if I move, sorry, I've got to be in the cursor mode, and up pops a little text box, if you like, when you let your mouse hover near it. This says that that symbol is an irrigation symbol. Its size is 1 and its cost of 1. They're just arbitrary figures put in there. The manufacturer is Hunter and the product name is a solenoid valve assembly. That information is stored with the drawing, and we can interrogate the drawing in a little while and extract that information and bring it into Excel. If I move across here to another symbol, here's another irrigation symbol. Its manufacturer is again Hunter and its product name is a pump. It would have a specific model number, no doubt. So we use an item on the gCADPlus drop-down menu and called extended data to store extended data. So let's pick it and do another one. We'll click here, and if we pick this black symbol here and click on it, look down in the status line, and where I says there's paving, decking, irrigation, furniture, grass, lighting, or species. Well, it's obviously irrigation, so we type an I. Up pops this little entity data box, and for the moment I'll just follow the routine because I don't have the data of typing 1 and 1. The manufacturer again is Hunter. This design is done with all Hunter equipment, but it has a product name. This is a PGP Ultra number 2.0 spray nozzle. So we enter it in and say OK. Now when we return to the drawing, I'll zoom in a little and let our mouse hover over it. I've misspelled it, haven't I? I've said sparry nozzle, but you get the idea. Let's right click and repeat the stored data one, and we'll hit I for irrigation, and the size again 1 and the cost 1 again. This is a Hunter spray, and again it's PGP Ultra. This time it's number 1.5 spray. Let me get it right this time. Spray nozzle, and we'll OK it and let our mouse hover over it again. So there we are. So once we've put the information in, notice if I come over here to this particular symbol, it's not tagged with extended data. So we've got another option in here in the gCADPlus drop down menu, and we simply want to propagate that stored data from this one to all of the others. So select the entity and hit enter, and if we now move over here and let our mouse hover, can you see all of these red symbols now have the data? I think this was the one that we did here. So if we right click and refresh data, select the entity there and hit enter, and now all those symbols now have extended data with them. So we can now use the gCADPlus extended data. We can highlight the entities that we have stored data with. We still have a couple more to go. And one of the other options is to extract that stored data, and that will extract a CSV style file ready for Excel and manipulation in Excel, and we'll do that in a moment. Well, the other thing you may notice about this drawing is if I select some of the lines that contain water supply to the various parts of the irrigation scheme, notice this one's on a layer Irrig-PVC 25, that's the cyan one, and the magenta lines on PVC 20. What that means is it's very easy in gCADPlus to isolate any one of those layers and maybe join some lines and then just measure the length of piping required. So that's done by tools and isolate a layer. So let's just scroll down and we'll isolate PVC 20 and OK. Now here are all the lines PVC 20. So it becomes relatively easy matter then to use the tools, add up the length of polylines, and we simply click, and we can't use a crossing window. It is slightly laborious, but it's a bit easier than doing it within your crowded drawing. And you can see that if you use polylines, longer polylines, it becomes easy to do this task. And as I'm doing it, you may notice down in the command area the total length of these PVC pipes is being incremented. Now, it might be easier if we modify the program in the future and give us the opportunity to do a crossing window or an all-encompassing window, but it's not too tedious to do that. That's a very big project here, and it's not taken me too long to do it, and we have 368, 398, so near enough to 370 meters of 20 millimeter PVC piping. So we can now return to our layers and all use layers on, and we're okay. So very easy to get the piping links out. So I'll start Excel, open a blank workbook, and we can go to data, and from text or CSV, and we know we put it on the desktop, so we go to the desktop, and here's our extended data CSV, and we'll bring it in. And here's a preview of what the data might look like. So let's transform the data and look at it. I can already see some things that bother me in the base information. There's certainly some layering problem, but let's do transform the data so that we can actually look at it in the Excel environment. Well, here we are in Excel. We've brought that information from the drawing and popped it in. There's an awful lot of information here that you don't need, so you can easily grab a range of cells such as that and just hide them. So we have a list of manufacturer and product name, and you can use the normal filtering techniques to do that, and any Excel functions that you're aware of and happy with. The count if function looks up the column, counts the number of entries that's got text in, so we know we need 44 of the number 2 spray nozzles in the plan. And if we can go back to the plan, so in pretty quick order we've extracted the length of piping, and now we've extracted information on number of sprays and things, and 44 of course exceeds the 27, but don't forget this design has been done in 2 stages, and the 27 applies to this zone through here. So the way to avoid extracting information and counting information from this zone here would be to hide all that zone in a block or on layers that you can turn off. But I hope this demonstrates quite clearly that there are techniques in gCADPlus for extracting information about things such as paving and lighting and irrigation information.